what you'll see on my chart here, just to kind of familiarize yourself here, this is my 5-minute SPY chart here. This is my 2-minute SPX chart. This is my 15-minute SPY. And this is a Heikin Ashi, so it's just a little different. Coloring green, coloring red, a little bit more of a trend. And then this is my 5-minute VIX. Same thing. Heikin Ashi. Every trade was a loser. All right, well, time to revisit our rules, right? So let's start with time of day. What is the first time of day that we trade? If you're a CTV person, this is not necessarily a day trading session. It's a CTV / scalping. There are times it's good to go for the convert the vert. It's times that are good to go for, oh, Michael, I know you know the answer, right? Times it's good to go for scalping. Times it's good to go for the convert the vert, right? So let's talk about that first. 10 a.m. is a time of day, right? So what do we look for? Well, we're going to look to follow some rules. Now, here's where 10 o'clock was a little bit interesting today. I caught the 10 o'clock trade, but it was a little bit interesting. Okay. Well, we had a 940 is really kind of where we had this little pullback at 940 into the 10 o'clock. So people can catch that. But for CTVers, let's do it this way. Now, here's what I'm going to share, right? I guess the way I'm going to approach this today is the way I'm going to approach this is like this, right? There are A+ setups that every CTV person should trade. And then, there are B setups and there are C setups, right? There are some experienced people that you'll find in the room, and I would probably put myself into this too. That's a B or a C setup. What I mean by that is it's maybe not all the rules perfectly aligned, but there's still an opportunity to make money. Like, these are all passing, by the way. These are all passing setups. They're not Fs. But they're all things that you can use to make money, but it may not be the perfect one, right? They are scalpable. They are ones you can make profit on once you're experienced. But I want to look at which ones today were B and C and which ones were the A+. Is that fair? So that if you're kind of new, or if you've been struggling and you're coming in here and you're like, man, it hasn't gone well for me. I just really need to reset a little bit. I need to get good. Well, then let's just focus for you on the A+, right? Take all the A+, and then, we'll leave it to some of the more experienced guys to take some of the B's and the C's, and they might make money on that. And if you're in the A+ category, if you're like, I only want the A+ trades, then you have to have the mindset of, I'm going to let the B's go and the C's go. And I'm not going to get FOMO when other people take those. Those are not for me. Mine are the A+. Does that make sense? All right. So what do we need for an A+ setup? Who could tell me the very first thing that we look for? If I wanted an A+ setup, meaning it's got the highest probability of working, the very first thing I need to see is time of day. Anybody know the time of day is by heart? Where you don't need to look at your chart to tell you? First trade of the day is around 10 o'clock. Next one would be around Takasiti via Cat. 10:40, good Lindy. Then 11 o'clock. Then usually 11:30 to 11:40 into the, I'll call this, it's kind of right in here. I'll call this into the lunchbox. Then the next one would be out of the lunchbox. And that's usually right around what time, Lindy? Sometimes happens at 12:55. It's a little bit flexible. I'm usually looking for it right around 12:40 to 12:55, in that kind of range. Ish. There's a bigger ish here. Where's the next move? $1.15. Then roughly 2 o'clock, roughly 2:30, roughly 3 o'clock, right? Something like this. So you take a picture of this, you may. I'll pause for a second so you can get a photo of it. Now that's time of day, right? What else? What else do we want to see? So that's number one. We want it to be one of these. After we get that, time of day, let's say that's check. There are 3 price action things we want to see. What are they? Reversal candle, confirmation candle, and the 3-5 cross. Good. 3 indicators we look for. Cycle, RSI, dots. And this could be on the 2-minute or 3-minute. Okay, this is what would constitute an A+ setup. You'll see today there were some that had time of day but didn't have all these things. But you'll see how important time of day actually is. So let's just do that first. Let's run through time of day. Here, let me just blow up my 2-minute chart. And let's just look at it. 2-minute time of day. All right. The first tradable shift, 10 o'clock. Do we have a shift here coming down? Got a shift, got a reversal candle, got a confirmation candle. Bam. Right? 10 o'clock. Next one, 10:40. How about that one? Reversal candle, confirmation candle. Bam. Just looking at reversal candle, confirmation candle. And look, dots, RSI, bam. Now this one, the dots came a little later. RSI came a little bit later. But I'm just showing you, like, it shifted at 10 o'clock. It shifted at 10:40. Did it shift at 11 o'clock? Yes, it did. Scalpable. Did it shift at 11:30 into the lunchbox? Yes, it did. Did it make a move out of the lunchbox at 12:40-ish? What do we like to do? We like to draw a little box around our price action here. Move out of the lunchbox. What time did that happen? Bam. 12:40. Boop. Look at that. What's the next time? 115? Where's 115? Right about here. Bam. And then we actually got this reversal here. Bam. 2 o'clock. Little one there. 2:30. There's one there. 3 o'clock. Let's get more candles out here. Shift. Boom. Okay. Now, I'm not suggesting that all the indicators lined up for every single one of those times of day. That's not what I was saying right there. What I was sharing with you is that if you have a hard time trusting and having faith in time of day, days like this are pretty good to renew your faith. Just to know that, like, hey, at that time of day, there is often a move. At this time of day, there's often a move. That wasn't big. At this time of day, there's often a move. At this time of day, break out of the lunchbox, there's often a move. 11 o'clock, boom. Into the lunchbox, 11:30, boom. I mean, isn't that kind of crazy? Just tell me that's a little bit crazy, right? Now, if you're an expert scalper, and there are people in the room who are expert scalpers, you can lean on time of day quite a lot. Yeah, I'm going to look at a lot of them. Okay? I'll look at a bunch of these, okay? But starting off time of days, everybody see how well time of day generally works. Now, that does not mean that everybody, if you're an A+ shift trader, doesn't mean that you should just blindly trade time of day only. A lot of these were tradable, but this is probably not enough to convert. This is probably not enough, right, to convert. Yeah, it might be enough to convert. By the time you get everything, it might not always be enough to convert. So let's look at the A+ setups, okay? So I'm just going to blow this up, make this a little bigger. Could you have traded the 10 o'clock shift today? Well, let's look. Is this A+? Okay, so here's opening bar. Here's the 940. Now, 940, you can see the RSI is all the way at the bottom, right? That's a nice spot to be in. Okay, and it starts to move up. It hits this first standard deviation band. It pulls back, and this is right about the time that we're expecting a shift. So let's just look for our candle structure first. Do we have candle structure? Do we have a reversal candle anywhere? As this is coming down and coming down and coming down and coming down, and oh, look at that one right there. Would you call that a reversal candle? Yeah, Michael, these are the VWAP deviation bands. Do you guys like this as a reversal candle? Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure, right? So here's your reversal candle. So then what do we wait for? Confirmation candle. We want to get above here. Doesn't happen here, doesn't happen here, doesn't happen here. Bam. Look at this clearing bar. It clears all of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all these candles. This bar gets above. As this bar is forming, there's your trade. Now let's look. Do we have dots? All but one. Michael, would you take a trade with all but one dot? You can see this is a little bit different scenario. A lot of times we like to see solid yellow changing to solid blue. but you can see the move started back here at 940. So the way I would be thinking about this is, okay, the 940 move, that's not one that we trade as a CTV, but you can see the pattern, right? It's coming up, it's pulling back, making a higher low. I'm sitting on this trade and I'm waiting for it to say, if we can get a higher low, the move started way back here where we had our curl. Then we had above and below, not super, super clean, but right here, we get it. So here we get dots. Here we get RSI. I'm waiting for my good confirmation candle, and that happens right there. Now, what's the only thing that maybe isn't fantastic about this trade? The yellow candle is showing it's actually a 521 cross. But yeah, 3 and 5 have already crossed. 3 and 5 probably crossed back here. Okay, we also do have green ticks, and right here we get big green ticks. That's also huge. So Alicat saying a big green tick, that outweighs one yellow dot in the balance of it. What's the only thing that's maybe not perfect A+ about this? Yeah, aim higher, I already said it, right? Cycle indicator. Well, and I wouldn't call it very high, but let's blow this up a second. Okay, let's look at this cycle. This is the bottom. This is kind of where that move begins. Comes up, pulls back. It does start to hook, and it changes back to green, right? But it's not all the way at the bottom. So now it's up to you. Yeah, you might say, I'm going to take this as a scalp. The first level, I'm just going to try to get out on. Right? First thing I see, I'm going to get out. I'm just going to take it as a quick scalp. Maybe I can't convert the whole thing. Maybe I can. I'm not sure, but maybe I've got a little lower expectation for how much runway I've got. Now, it's still in the middle. It's not all the way up here. Like, that's different, right? There is room here. And these things can get to the outside and still run, but I would call it A+ if it was back here. If we had this bar on this alignment with these dots and its cycle is here, that's what makes it A+. This, I'd say it's a B. You can tell cycle's going the right way, right? But so cycle's not disagreeing with me in my trade, but it's not at the ideal spot. So now you can choose, right? One thing that might be worth checking, when you see that the 2-minute cycle is a little bit not all the way at extreme, take a peek at the 5. What does the cycle show you on the 5-minute chart? Is there runway? Is there room to go or not? Let's see. What time was that? Right about here, 10:15-ish. Do you see how this is turning right here? So there is some room to run. And look, on the 5-minute chart, we get RSI. We get dots. This is actually really easier to see almost on the 5-minute chart, isn't it? Right? So it's good to have these things in concert. But if I'm looking at all of them together, the 2-minute chart, RSI was a check, dots was a check, cycle was a here, cycle is okay. RSI is a check, dots are a check, momentum is a check. Right? There's a lot of things here. So Alicat would give it an A-. What would you guys grade that one? I would not give it an A+. However, it's a trade I would take, and I did take, and so I'm trading it level or yellow.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video from Trade With Me Now. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel so you make sure that you catch our next video right when it's released. Also, if you have a question or comment, please leave that in the comment section below. And of course, if you want to learn more about Trade With Me Now or join our community of profitable traders, go to tradewithmenow.com. There's also a link in the description below.